Okay, we just finished up with most of the extraneous bits section. So, this whole series, I've been taking it piece by piece so that you can work on your get home bag piece by piece. You can organize all of your notes, you could see what you're deficient in, and then you could go ahead and attack that however you want, depending on your financial situation is what it usually boils down to, is your financial situation as to what you're going to address first. Okay. Obviously having a good pack is your first priority. So you have to have a good pack, you have to have a good strong military spec pack, okay, which could be a big deal for you. You have to address the pack first, because the pack is what carries all of your stuff, okay? All your stuff is going to be carried by the pack, and obviously you're going to carry the pack, right? We don't have porters in this business. You got to carry your own. So, I was discussing the extraneous bits of things that you could possibly add to your pack or to have on your person, so on, to help get you home from point A to point B. The last thing that I'm going to discuss here is bribery. Okay, so when we talk about bribery, bribery is something that goes on often in third world countries. Bribery is normal. And when you get to a situation, a grid down type situation in this country, bribery comes out in this country too. You're going to see it. I've seen people try to barter for gasoline and things like that. It gets kind of crazy. So you have to think about having bribery kits, okay? Bribery kits with you. And what that means is you could have a billfold, wallet, whatever you like to call it, and you could have $30 in there. You could have 3 tens, right? And you could fill it with fake credit cards, things like that. And then if you get to a situation, hey, I really need this, whatever this is, okay? Somebody has something that you want, but it's normally $5, but they want all of your money, right? Because at this particular point in time, even paper money, people are still using paper money at this point in time. Early on, paper money is still going to work because it is ingrained into their mind. They've been conditioned that paper money is still worth something, right? So early on, paper money is still going to be able to work. You can say, look, here's what I've got. I've got $30. I still have to get home. I still may need other things on the way. I'm not going to give you $30 because I need to keep as much of this as I can to get home. And of course, they're not really going to care most of the time. They're going to say, well, you want it or not, right? And then Okay, that normally costs $5. I'll give you $10, but I'm not giving you any more than $10. I'm not giving you any more than $10 because I still need money to get home. I still need some money. Work with me. Put yourself in my shoes. You know, I got a long way to go. Help me out here, right? So you have to psychologically work on the person sometimes, right? Now, and they say, nah, 10 ain't good enough. At least 20, you know. And then you have to be like, I guess how a poker player is. I'm not a poker player, but I'm thinking of the poker player, they talk about the poker hand and all that, right? But I'm thinking it's the same thing, but you have to be kind of like that guy. So you just say, you know, and put your wallet back in your pocket, your billfold back in your pocket, and you say, you know what? I can do 10 and that's it. I'm out. You know, and as soon as that finality of, hey, I could have sold this for $10, as soon as that finality hits home with the person who has something that you want, that you're just going to walk, a lot of times they'll say, hey, wait a minute, you know, okay, I'll do 10, right? So that's the way you got to be. You got to be able to cut it off, right? And this is early on. Remember this, you have to remember that there are stages to this thing. Early on, people are going to be more like regular human beings, okay? But as it gets worse, as things progress, people are going to get more like cavemen, okay? They are. It's just the way it is. The psychological profile goes from being a normal everyday human being to being a savage, okay? That's how it works. So the early on is when you need to do your negotiations and do whatever you need to do if you're going to interact with other people. You got to get that done early on in your get home situation, because if it gets too late, then the guns are going to come out, or the knives, or the billy clubs, or the pipe wrenches, or the tire irons. All of those things will come out at some point down the line. I've seen it. Okay, I've been there. I've seen that situation before. And you need to early on do these interactions. If you need to do an interaction with another person, you got to do it early on while people are still normal people. While they are still somewhat normal people. They know that things are kind of like crazy, something's going on around them, but they haven't fallen into that realm of being a savage yet. Okay? You can still deal with them. And you have to do that early. So when we talk about bribery, okay, it used to be in Southeast Asia, and my brother had gold chains, solid gold chains, not 14. He had solid gold chains. And those solid gold chains were for bribery, okay? So, get to the situation where, you know, if you're on foot, you got separated and all that back then. If you were a down pilot back then, we're talking Southeast Asia here with the gold chains now. Then you could use one of these gold chains to bribe the villagers to help you. See, so it was like wearing money, right? Of course, if you were a down pilot, for instance, you know, you wouldn't want to have all that gold hanging around your neck. You'd want to put one around your neck and stow the rest somewhere else nobody knew about, right? So that way they don't see all of what you got. You just say, well, I've got this gold chain. You know, it's going to be the same with a nice wristwatch in a bad situation. Well, I've got this wristwatch. You know, it's a good one. Sometimes you wear things that are expensive just so that if you get into a situation like this where you have to start bribing people, and you got something. It gets too bad, they won't want your cash. They will want your Rolex watch. Okay, if you have a Rolex watch, they're going to want that. I don't want that cash. I want that watch. Remember, it's worth what somebody's willing to give for it. You happen upon a farm, they've got horses with a saddle. Better than walking, right? There's some situations, some places in the United States, you can go someplace, they got horses, mules, saddles, all that. Some way to where you don't have to walk home. Animal does it. So you got to think about small things that are worth a lot. Okay, that are worth a lot to be able to use in trade. Okay, so when you gotta bribe somebody, you think about cash, you think about silver, you think about gold, you think about jewelry. Okay, those things you need to think about when it comes to bribery. Sounds pretty bad to get to that point, right? Yeah. So, I'm almost out of time on this video. This is going to be the last one on all these modules to just get home. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this. I'm gonna leave you to your notes and have you organize all of your stuff that hopefully you've been accumulating, you know, as far as your notes and everything from these videos. I'm going to leave you for a few days to deal with that. You can also email me questions if you like. It's no problem. And then we'll come back and we'll have one or two afterward videos and we'll discuss this more. Okay, there. Alright? Especially if you send me some questions, then maybe I'll bring those questions out without identifying who you are, obviously. And then I could say, well, this is how I would address that situation, you know. So I'm going to leave you, like I said, I'm going to leave you for a few days with this. We'll come back on the weekend and we'll pick back up. And hopefully between now and, say, Saturday, you folks will send me emails with questions or what have you. And then we can address those situations, those questions, and we can kind of wrap this whole thing up and put a little bow tie on it, right? And we can go from there. I'll see you later.